If I had to walk, I had to walk. It just became just a process of grinding and grinding. And grinding is not even a good word for it. It's not even a good word for it. Just going further and further. And then when I got through running, I go to the bike. I go to the pool. If I got tired somewhere, my legs were tired, I go to the gym. And I developed this crazy workout where I was doing volume 200-300 reps of like very lightweight. My workout routine in the gym became sick. We have the ability to go in such a space if you're willing to suffer, and I mean suffer. Your brain and your body, once connected together, can do anything. And this 30 miles was the life-changing moment. I was out of it. I was in the worst pain in my entire life. I was, to me, on the brink of death. And I was able to chunk this 30 damn miles into small pieces. I was so driven. And I'm not going to say motivated, because motivation's crap. Motivation comes and goes. When you're driven, whatever's in front of you will get destroyed. I sat in this chair and I was so driven to succeed in this race. This became a personal thing. This became me against this race, me against me. It just became something that I took so violently personal. And I broke this thing down into small pieces. I said, okay, I got to get nutrition. I got to be able to stand up. So I went through all these small steps and I was able to stand up. And then from standing up, I was literally walking around with my wife at the time. And she goes, you're not going to make the time. I got to mile 81. And the second she said that I'm not going to make the time, I ran the last 19 miles nonstop. And people may listen to this and say, this guy is sadistic. He's crazy. No, if you know how I came up, you realize I was just a scared kid that found drive and passion to be something much better than what he thought he was. I have to become someone in this world, or I'm no good for anybody. It comes from a disgusting place of not being fulfilled in your life, of afraid of dying, having never accomplished anything. That's a fear that some people run away from, that people don't want to face. When you have a real fear of dying and being just another person, that I live to pay the bills, I made $1,000 a month. This is my life. I spray for cockroaches, man. If that makes you feel good, that's great. It didn't make me feel good. I wanted to, the first time in my life, after 26 years, it was 24, 25, wherever it was, I wanted to feel good about myself. I'm insecure here. This isn't the real me. I lied to you about that. I wanted your acceptance in life. All those things happen. But the thing about it is that we get judged so quickly by who we are. We don't know. We don't go to where it happened. Life created this person, me. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not my fault. Now I gotta go back and fix it though. So a lot of this isn't your fault, why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where they started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. I was just an insecure, scared kid. But the best thing that happened to me, no one helped me. So the only way I could turn it around was to suffer. I had to build calluses in my brain the same way I built calluses on my hands. I saw myself as the weakest person God ever created, but I never blamed God for anything he did to me. So I wanted to change that to be the hardest man ever created. Am I that? I don't know, but you had to have a goal. And my goal when I was sitting there, not going to school, being bullied, having no self-esteem, my goal was the only person that's going to turn this person around is me. All these insecure people putting their insecurities on you, you got to flush it out. You got to just be whoever the hell God or whoever the hell you believe in. If you believe in nothing but yourself, I don't care what it is. You got to take everything and throw it away. You have to believe in one thing, and that is yourself. And I'm not saying don't believe in God or what you believe in, but right now, for you to find greatness in yourself, you're not going to find it by looking in a book or by even hearing me. I may give you the spark, but you've got to go inside yourself to find it. How? That's the question. How are you going to do that? Thicken your skin. Become more of a human being. Don't be afraid of the reflection in the mirror, because that's all you can be afraid of. Once you overcome the reflection in the mirror, On the other side is greatness. Greatness is whatever the hell you dreamed of in your own mind. You got to first see it. You got to first create this vision in your mind. Once you create this vision in your mind, it's how am I going to get there then? But you've got to go inside yourself to find it. And that means you got to be quiet. Shut the fuck up, go in a room, stop talking, search your soul, search your mind, search your abilities, and you'll find it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. So you got to go start your journey. And the journey starts with you finding, why the hell am I here on this planet Earth? Why am I here? And if you don't know that, you will live the rest of your life searching, always asking the question, why? Everything I didn't want to do is what got me to where I'm at today. It's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, you can't hurt me. I have this haunting voice in the back of my head. A lot of us have it. We just ignore it. And it was there for years. So I knew in the back of my mind that I could pull off this whatever I wanted. I knew I could. I knew that, but I was afraid of the work because I wasn't gifted with brains. I wasn't gifted with God-given talent as far as like athleticism. So I knew to get to where I had to go, to be on the same playing field as these men, to even try out for this program, I knew the work was going to be something that I didn't want to even attack. So I would just put it off. It haunted me. That's what I realized for myself was I wanted that comfort zone that everybody looks for, that pat on the back. They don't want to hear all the bad. They want to hear everything that they're doing right. And I realized that's what kept me in this world. That's what kept me in this world of not accomplishing anything. What I did was I became that big, bad, nasty that you don't want to walk into at nighttime. I became the roughest critic in the world on myself. And that's what changed me. So I got to eat. This morning I woke up with a slack-jawed, poopy pants mentality. I've been traveling an awful lot, kind of wore down a little bit. I believe in taking days off. I think days off are real important for recovery and all that stuff. But I don't believe in taking days off because your mentality is just feeling sorry for yourself. I deserve this, or I've earned that mentality. And that's what I was saying to myself. Today's self-talk was horrible. We all have one voice, and that one voice is very powerful that says, hey, you've earned this, you deserve this, take time off, all that stuff. Start developing the other voice that fights that voice. When it's not a designated day off, I don't care if it's running, swimming, biking, studying. If it's not a day off, don't take a day off. And start developing that voice that fights the weaker voice. Remember that. We all have one voice, work on the other voice also. Yeah. You got to change that, man.
Yeah, but you don't understand my life.
Yeah, I do. I get that mentality. I once had that mentality that no one understands what the fuck I'm going through. And if you keep that mentality, you're going to stay in the same exact spot that you're in, that no one understands me. There's millions of people. Everybody's going through shit. So when people get this mentality of like, you don't understand me, you can throw a rock to someone that can understand you if they're willing to break themselves down and stop hiding. But you got to stop hiding. Back in the day when I played sports, there was one drill that I hated doing. The coach would have a whistle in his mouth. And basically, we had to sit there and run in place. We ran in place until he blew that whistle. When he blew that whistle, we hit the dirt and bounced up again and started running in place again. And this drill went on and on and on. The one thing that sucked about that drill was the coach was in total control of everything. How long the drill went, when he blew the whistle for us to hit the dirt, when we got back up, started running in place, and it was mind-numbing. That drill reminded me a lot about life. I think a lot of us out here, we don't have control. We don't have the whistle. There's someone out there blowing that whistle, and we hit the dirt. Some of us choose to stay down, but it's that mother who constantly gets up as fast as they can. Those are the most that make it in life. So it's our job to always be ready for the whistle. So I gotta go. Well, your first thing, you're fighting. We all have two people. We all have two people. And I'm not saying you're crazy. We have the easy voice, which is that 20% telling yourself that I'm easy at 90% of my full potential, maybe 100% at that 20%. That's that voice that we all love. That's that very comfortable voice that's that mommy holding you saying it's going to be okay. Doesn't care how good you are, just loves you. Just loves you no matter how messed up you are in life. That's where you want to be at. So that's that one voice. This other voice that we walk very far away from is the voice saying, hey man, you ain't doing shit. So we try to get this voice out of our head completely. And we live over here in this land. So what you have to do first is turn up this voice over here. The voice saying things to you that aren't nice. That it's in our head saying, you know what, man? Dude, you're not doing shit. When you're in a bad spot in life and your mind is saying all kind of shit, that's who you really are. That's the real you. That's where the growth happens, is when you have to force yourself to stay in it. You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to. You may have a best friend you're going to. But there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kind of ways. And it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over. I'm trying to find more of myself. And the only way I can find more is to silence the world out as much as I can, because it's getting busier every day. It's getting faster. And the faster it gets, the more you are missing who you are. So I trap my own mind a lot and say, look, man, I put my phone away, I put away, and I go dark. I go dark a lot. And it's because I have to find out I'm on a journey of life, and we all have a different journey. I learned how to really find strength in the misery. When everybody's suffering, everybody's all poopy pants and their mentality's down and everything, I started just like, my God, this is where I shine. And I started using all that misery for tons and tons of drive and motivation to then lead people further. Because you can get a lot of power through misery. And once people see that, my God, Goggins is going, then everybody says, roger that. Let me get my shit and go too. So I started realizing that if you can just find strength just a little bit longer, you will have a crew of people following you along the way. Let me sit here and enjoy this pain. She said, what are you talking about? I go, I need to go to the doctor. I realized that. But I never thought it was humanly possible to do what I did. I went 70 miles. At 70 miles, I was dead. I was at 100%, what I thought was 100%. I went 31 more miles after being in the worst physical shape I've ever been in my life. All that pain and suffering and thing was going through my body as I sat in that tub and the water was hitting me. And it was the most amazing feeling of accomplishment. And I want to be numb. I want people to give me pain. I did this. As crazy as it sounds, it was the most amazing moment of my entire life. I will guarantee you one thing about me is that we all talk about time. We don't have enough of it. That's bullshit. What you don't do right is you don't prioritize what is important in your life. And for me training and the things that I do on a daily basis, that's how I start to build my armor. I started finding self-esteem. Once I found that, that's when doors started opening up. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that. And that's when my life started really changing for me, slowly but surely. I saw working out as a way for me to build calluses on my mind. I had to callous over the victim's mentality. I always equated training to mental toughening. It always looked brutal. People waking up early and doing all these things, and it looked horrible. I was like, wow, man, I gotta start doing that. Not to get better, bigger, and stronger, but that is what's gonna build me. That looks uncomfortable. So I know how it is to be alone. You have to be able to flip alone on top of its head. I gained a lot of strength from having a sewer mentality. And what a sewer mentality is how many people can make it out of the sewer alone? With no coach, no trainer, no one to guide you, no one to mentor you, just having a straight up killer mentality, having a warrior mindset, having a round 14, I'm going to get up mindset. And you have to learn to flip that loneliness into like total like power. And that's what I was able to do. I was able to like, you know what? If I can come out of this sewer that I'm living in my mind, if I can overcome all these things by myself, how much strength will I gain from this? That looks brutal. And getting up early, I don't want to do that. So I made this long list of things I don't want to do. And through that, I found myself. And you gain a ton of strength from it. So that's how I looked at my life growing up. I stopped looking at all the bad things that life handed me. And I started looking more as the ultimate training ground for where I want to go. My mental armor starts to get built up by doing these things that are uncomfortable for me. So I still hate running. You guys are getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, running over here in this golf course. So I started seeing myself very differently than the average human being. I was like, hang on a second. I have something they don't have. I've never had a lot of people in my life, and I keep my circle real small. It's been my mom, and, it's my fiance right now. And the more people you have in your life, the noisier your life gets. The more distractions you get in your life, the more shit you start to hear. Growth comes from a very quiet place in your mind. And when you can organize it, you have to organize your mind. And when you have so much noise and distraction, there's no organization in that. So I believe in keeping my circle real small, and those people know what they get from me. And I know what I get from them, and it keeps me going forward, never stagnant. And that's when I started to develop these things through working out. It was this great, never-ending work ethic. And through work ethic, I developed self-esteem. I always equated working out to struggle. And I struggled my whole life, but I ran from it. So I started realizing, man, I got to start facing the struggle, and I got to be mentally strong for the struggle. So that's why I started coming up with I'm training for life. Mentally, I'm training for life. I'm not training for I don't care about winning trophies. I don't care about winning anything. All I want to do is go the distance. And I found out on my own pretty much is that through discipline, through self-discipline, through repetition, through tons of repetition of the same thing that you don't want to do. And that's the key thing. Through repetition of things you don't want to do, you develop mental, like an armor for your mind. You start to armor your mind, because your mind's like, okay, we suffer every day. That's what we do. We do stuff that sucks every day. So then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. And that's how I started coming up. I just started being very uncomfortable. And now it's like just a way of life. And I am happy because this is my lifestyle. This is what I want to do. But trying to find your best self, you become unbalanced. And people always talk about this mythical creature called the balance. You want to be balanced. I think balance is a bunch of bullshit. Yes, I really do.
You think for everybody?
Really yeah, I think almost for everybody. Everything in my life, so I had a learning disability that I talked about. My physical gave me the self-discipline, and that literally has carried me over to, I can sit down and study. What may take some people an hour to study, I have to sit down for maybe 10 hours to learn the same. And that's very frustrating. So I always talk about running and swimming and all the stuff I did in the military and pull-up records and powerlifting, all these physical feats. Some of the hardest I do in my life is just learning. But I got that self-discipline from waking up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning to go out in the cold weather, to get my run in, to get my lift in, to get my swim in, to do those things. It totally transfers over to my learning. It's that self-discipline you gain from feeling good about yourself by overcoming yourself on the physical aspect of life. But I was because I kind of was preparing myself for the next part of my journey. I don't like to lay in my too long. I give myself a couple of minutes to, okay, we got man to f up. We got to get back, what's next? Let's go see, let's go back to college. Let's do something, because you're running and your athletic career's done. And this was like literally a trained skill for me. was I'm always preparing for like not being a bit. Like a lot of people get to a point, like for instance, like if Jennifer can't do something, like if she can't go for a run or whatever, just like because something's wrong, like some simple shit, it's gonna bother her. I got to a point in my life where I realized this is life. And so I move on past things real quick. So people are like, oh my God, what are you gonna do, David, if you can't run? I'll swim, or I'll go to college, or I'll do something else. This isn't my life. I'm very aware how quick life can take from you, and I've always prepared my mind for the next chapter. And what happened with me was I started this thing called front loading. So when I was young, I used to be a little piece of shit. Oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. But the second I got my head out of my ass, and I realized, man, you can achieve a lot of if you get off your ass and you start moving and you start motivating yourself. Start becoming a self-motivator. So I started front loading. And front loading is people are like, man, you've done so much by 47 because I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring me. So my military resume is fat. You know, I did a lot in the military. I did a lot outside the military. I've made money. I've done almost every race out there, hard race in the world. I've broken pull-up records. I've done a lot of shit. So when these bad times come, and also not like only that, like work your ass off so you can enjoy. Yeah, you're taking a shot. You know, you may not live to be old, but what if you do? And you worked your ass off when you were able, and you were able to get up early, able to grind. If you front load it properly, the back half of your life is money. And that's what I did. Boy, I can tell bad timing.
If you pan it down here, you see it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and there's not a car or a person in sight. If you pan over here, it's the same thing. Not a car or a person in sight. People want to know where I find my strength at, where I get my strength. I get it from a lot of places, but right now, this morning, I'm getting it from, there's not a motherfucker that's up. There's not a car. There's not a person. Everybody's in their bed, sleep, dreading that it's a Monday, hate it's a Monday. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that. Where everybody's getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on the daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and get after it every daggone day. Stay hard.
I'm not happy. What they see in me, the biggest thing is they say, look at his eyes. Look at his eyes, man. Have you seen his eyes? It looks like he has demons in his eyes. Looks so unhappy. The biggest thing is I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. You know, they're so missing the point, man. He's a very focused, driven human being who found a buried treasure within himself. Not many people found it. So the journey I'm on is very different than most people, which is why I don't judge people. I'll say that many times. I don't judge people. I'm judged a lot by how I look. My eyes, my not smiling all the time, not laughing, not joking. Right now, it's easy to be happy. It's easy to smile. Those are the good times. The good times. Those times don't need to be trained. You know, I had to train myself for good times. Those times, for most people, don't need to be trained. What I'm trying to give you all is the misery of sometimes we go through in life. Those are the times we don't want to talk about. We want to skip forward to peace. Let's skip all this pain and suffering and misery of real life. Let's cover it over, a nice big blanket, and let's find peace. No, sorry. It's not possible. Got to go into that hellhole of life that you have that fucked you up and fix it. And that's what I'm here to do. You must go to war with yourself before you find peace. So I'm trying to give you tools on how to do that. And I'm not considering to smile and be happy about it. It's a hard journey. It's a real journey. It's a journey that's going to take you way outside of being comfortable. You'll be very, very uncomfortable. I want you to go there with me. I'm taking you there with me. I'm a storyteller. I want to take your ass down paradise. So the house I lived in Buffalo, New York, that I got my ass beat every day, funny. We lived on Paradise Road, and it was anything but paradise. So I want you to go there with me. You want to learn from me? Let me take your ass home. Let me take you there. So that's the whole thing about it, man. We're scared to dive into our lives. What made us who we are? the beautiful people that we are. We're all jacked up in so many ways. That's the beauty of us. That's the beauty of me. I'm jacked up, but I figured out my own little process on how to get unjacked up and I'm not going to get the same, I'm not going to get the same way you're going to get there. You may get there by going point A to point B. I might go point C to D to E to F, but I'm going to be there the same way you are, just a little harder. And that's how I train my brain. So it's just different. I'm just a different thinker.
One thing I found out in my life, I used to always want people to accept me and like me. So I became who they were. If you like something and I didn't like it, I liked it because you liked it. Become unapologetic of who you are in your life. If you get after it and you're a hard motherfucker, get after it. You gotta make yourself better than what you think you are. And what that requires is people to not understand you, not know you, not get you at all. Look at you like you're off. Look at you like you have a problem. Don't worry about that. Be unapologetic. Get after it. Stay hard. Be who you are.
So basically, I start running and I get to about mile 40, mile 50, and I'm feeling pretty good. I get to mile 70 and it was the worst pain in my life. I sat down in this blue lawn chair at mile 70 and the Ritz crackers after mile 20 became Ritz cracker balls because I wouldn't hydrate correctly. I didn't know what to do. I was drinking Mileplex for my nutrition because I couldn't eat these Ritz crackers. Had very minimal water, if any at all. And I was just dying. So I sat down in this blue lawn chair as I was watching all these runners go around in this circle. I was all dizzy and lightheaded, hadn't gone to the bathroom. It's been about 12 hours. I went 70 miles in about 12 hours, which is good. And I looked at my ex-wife now and I was like, I started seeing like three of her. And once my body stopped, my mind just went off. And I had to go to the bathroom. And the bathroom was it's like 20 feet away from me, if that. And I couldn't.
Big difference between a champion and someone who's just good. Let's use boxing, for instance. It's a 12-round championship bout. At the 11th round, they both go to the corners. Someone that's good sits there and thinks to himself, I've given everything I have. Hopefully, I can get through the 12th round. A champion, he sits in that corner while all of his people are talking to him. All he's thinking about is, I have to find what I haven't given. It's that mentality that truly separates the champions from the motherfuckers who are just good. Today I'm running. A lot of people stopping, saying stay hard. This one cat drives by, says, Goggins, I hate your black ass. Hey, lucky for me, there's a stoplight. Car stops, I pull up to it. Got a chance to assess the scene. Look in there, see it's a big Thanksgiving eating mother. So I grabbed myself and said, hey, ask your mama who your real daddy is. We all got our own opinions. Voice them. Stay hard.
Where it gets hard. And the harder it is, the more you start to push back. And the more you push back, and it's not right for people to talk about. It's not right for, like, let's say you are fat. I was fat. That's why I talk about it. And it was hard as every day to get up. I know what it feels like. When you roll your fat ass out of bed and all you want is some damn cinnamon buns and chocolate milkshakes. I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. But I can't want it more than you. And so many people just want it the easy way. I'm sorry, man. It's not. So what they start to do is they build this narrative of it's okay. When the narrative should be, you need to work harder. You need to discipline your mind better. We need to help people more than just saying it's okay. It's okay that you're not willing to help yourself out. That's not okay. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. Even though it's your life, if that's acceptable, that's unacceptable. And there's a lot of people in this world, me included, that if I accepted that, I wouldn't be anywhere. So yeah, a lot of people just start creating a narrative about themselves that make it okay. The ultimate get out of jail free card. And now the world is set up to have so many get out of jail free cards. Everything is okay. And you can't say a motherfucking thing about it.
Well, the big thing that got me lifting was my self-esteem was real low. So I hid behind that big body. So I was 175 pounds before I became that 300-pound guy. And the reason why I became big was to hide my real soft, insecure, fearful of everything self. And being a large individual, it scared people away from the real soft David Goggins inside. So I built this humongous exterior to keep away the enemy because my mindset wasn't what it is now. When you know these things about yourself and you know that you're hiding from certain things and you know why you became big. I didn't become big for the love of the sport. You know, it wasn't like, you know what, I just want to be some jacked up cat, man, walk around, eat, 10,000 calories a day, bring around my, 8 gallons of water to the gym, sit down, my damn smelling salts and just get after it. I love that part, but it was hiding a lot of shit going on in my life, in my personal life. So that big guy became my armor, became my shield, so people wouldn't pick on me anymore. They'd be scared because I would, just either just beat the out of them or just eat them, whatever first.
If I had to wake, I had to walk and I had to walk. It just a process of grinding and grindings. Not even a good world, for it's not even a good world, for it just going future and filter. And then way I got thought running, I go to the bike, I go to the pull in, I go to tread somewhere, my legs were tired, I go to the game and this crazy workout where I was doing value to 300 reps of light my workout routine in this gym because we have the ability to go in such a space. If you are suffer, and I mean suffer, your brain, you and your body knows connected, and these 30 millions was this life-changing moment. I was out of it, was in the old Spain. In my entire life, I was to me on the brink of death, and I was able to check these 30 millions. I was so drive, and I am not gonna say is motivated, because motivation is crap. Motivation comes and gone when you are trying whatever in front of you will get destroyed. I stay in this care, and I was so driven to success in this race. This became a personal thing, this because me against this race.